Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome and welcome back to our channel. I am Woven. If you are new to this channel and if you're returning, thank you very much. So, on this channel, we talk all things, or we create all things lifestyle and travel, village content, and finance. So, today we're looking at the finance aspect. But recently, I did take it to my Instagram because I'm getting quite a lot of requests either for mentorship, financial mentorship, and unfortunately, I do not have the capacity to take on everybody now. I am mentoring those that I'm mentoring. So I thought I could actually just bring it to our platform so that it's a bit more inclusive. And instead of addressing one person at a time, because I find myself receiving similar requests from a couple of people, we could bring it here and we could journey together. So this is going to be, yeah, we're just trying to create value here, especially for the Namibian child, right? Especially for the Namibian people, because then the content is more relatable. So what we're going to do is I'm working on a series on career advice. So, because I'm only in finance, I'm obviously relying on other people's resources or other people to give their part of the knowledge or their experience so that we can just make the career advice more inclusive. But we're probably going to be looking at more qualification and earnings. So, if you want to contribute, this is how it's going to happen, right? And it's very important that confidentiality is kept. So what's going to happen is I need from various industries one your earnings. So you can share your pay slip. What you can do is blur out your name if you're not comfortable and basically just your journey so that someone that either wants to get into that field can learn and just see what are the earnings, what are the experiences, what are the qualifications that you need. So that's the one part. So far, I've gotten a couple in the finance industry. I think for civil servants, that's relatively easier because the pay grades are available or the ranges. But in terms of private sector, I would really, really appreciate if you can come on board. So far, I've gotten finance, then I've gotten someone from the mining sector to commit. So hopefully that video will be coming soon. So on today's video, as you can see, someone inboxed me, and I'm just going to read it here. My MacBook is here, and we're going to read it together, right? So that we can just tackle debt, right? Today's topic is debt and just some ways and how we can get out of debt and we can actually continue living a debt-free life. Right, so she says, Dear Owen, I trust you well. I truly find you inspiring and I'm learning a lot from you. Well, thank you once again. A few months ago, I decided to do the unthinkable and got a bank loan to pay off some debts. At the same time, I went and opened a furniture account to buy a new TV and a bed for my siblings, right? And all these purchases, especially the bed for siblings, is actually justifiable. Now, let's continue reading. Because the interest charged only keeps going higher and higher, and on top of that, I have to pay off the furniture account as well. I was a little depressed. I was a little depressed at first and continuously blamed myself for making such a silly mistake and taking out a loan and a furniture account at the same time. Now, this is a lot of ourselves, or a lot of us find ourselves in this position, right? Where you make some financial decisions that are not the best and you find yourself blaming yourself. You do not need to blame yourself. You are not alone. And not that I've blamed myself, but what I can say is you are not walking this journey alone. So if also that's your experiences, please do feel free to actually share on Instagram on my inbox. Right? And then now I'm not in a position to save up anything as all my money goes to paying off these accounts, our rent, as well as groceries and other small expenses. But now I have learned from you, I will do better in future, and then there's a name. Again, I did indicate confidentiality is important, right? So we're now looking at debt. You are now sitting with your debt as much as it is, and it has probably become unmanageable, or you're just not living optimally. So, what is it that we can do to get out of debt, right? You find yourself, you're now drowning in debt. What can we do? what could you do? Again, this is guidance. This is not financial advice. If you require financial advice, please contact a registered financial advisor with Nafisa. Okay, so first, when we tackle debt, there's a couple of things that we need to look at, and I'm going to share about 4 or 5 steps that you can actually do to get out of debt. Right? Number one, you need to know your why. Why do you want to get out of debt? That's very important, right? And she did indicate it's become unmanageable. She's gotten depressed. Those are some of the reasons you'd want to get out of debt. Now, we need to be very realistic when it comes to tackling debt. You need to look at yourself in the mirror, sit yourself down, and have an honest conversation. Because, one, the habits that got you into debt, you are not going to get out of debt if you keep to those same habits. So, what got the habits that got you in debt will not take you out of debt. So, there's a couple of things that we need to look at when we sit ourselves down and look at ourselves realistically. Number one, bring all your debt in full view. Write down all your debt. And this is not just for the specific individual. If you are currently in debt and you also want to get out, the first thing that you need to do is bring all your debt in full view. So, what you want to do is write down the debt, so credit card, then the amount, the interest that you're paying. So, if you have a credit card or a personal loan, the bank would have given you an interest rate that you're paying on. You note it down. Okay, actually, I'm going to put down an example here. So, your credit card, the amount, the interest, and your minimum monthly payment that you're actually paying off on this debt, whether it's now your furniture account, personal loan, credit card, or whatever debt it is that you have. So list all of them like that, right? Once you have listed that, you now have a full understanding of actually how much it is that you're paying towards debt, right? And where exactly or how much you owe on each of the debt. And remember, guys, the faster you can pay off your debt, the better, because I always say debt erodes your ability to start creating and building your wealth. Great. We have now done the first step, which is bringing our debt in full view. Very important. Don't be shy. Write everything down, even what you owe your friends. Write it down. The second thing that we need to do is to decide on an attack plan, on an execution plan, which is basically looking at your debt repayment plan. Now, there's a couple of ways in which you can basically attack your debt or pay down your debt, but today we're going to look at two, right? One is the snowball method, and then the other one is the avalanche method. Now, the snowball method, this actually works on your psyche, right? And if you want to see small wins very quickly, this is probably the method that you want to then look at. So, what does the snowball method do really? You pay off your smallest debt faster. So, you can actually see the progress and you get that momentum going. So, what you need to do is you list your debt from highest to lowest or from lowest to highest, and that low or the lowest debt, you pay it off quicker. But what's very important is you need to maintain your minimum payment on all your debt. And then on the lowest, you pay up an additional amount on top of what your minimum is. So that you can actually see that you're quickly knocking off debt, and it does get you going. It does keep you encouraged because you can see that you're making progress. Now, the other method is the avalanche method. Avalanche method, if you're a numbers person, this would actually or might work for you, because avalanche method looks at addressing the debt with the highest interest first, right? So if you look at your debt that you have now listed down, remember I told you to list the interest amount that you're paying on there. And if you do not know what that interest rate is, you can actually contact your bank at any point in time and say, hey guys, what interest am I paying on this account? Whatever account, whether it's your car, whether it's a personal loan, even on furniture accounts, if there's interest, you can always go back to them and ask, how much am I paying? So then the avalanche method allows you to attack the debt with the highest interest first, which actually works really well if you're a numbers person again and you can just do the numbers, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be paying less interest if you actually pay it off faster. So say for instance you're paying 11.5 on a credit card, is probably at 15%, depending on how good one your credit score was and what rate the bank gave you, between 14 to 15%. And of that, imagine just paying your minimum. But now imagine if you pay you pay your credit card of 6 months earlier. It means you're going to be saving on the interest you could have been paying over the other 6 months if it was a 12-month duration or a personal loan. Those are the two methods. You can use the snowball method, you knock off the smaller debt first, or you can use the avalanche method, you knock off the debt with the highest interest first. Okay, now we have decided on our debt repayment plan. Please excuse me. And you are now amped up, you're motivated like woman when she decides to join the gym, but after a month or two, you just feel a little discouraged. So, what is it that you need to do to actually just keep that motivation, that momentum? One, it's very important to automate your debt repayment. Do not leave it to yourself. Do not leave it to chance to say, no, I will be paying over this funds. Contact whoever your service provider is and say, automate this repayment. Automate this monthly payments that I actually make to you so that you do not have to take care of it. You do not leave it up to you. So that at the end of the day, you would know that these guys would have collected their funds. Guys, please do not draw all your funds before your payments have gone off, right? Now, because you're honoring all your debts, whatever that little extra income that's left, pay it then extra towards either if you're using the snowball, towards the smallest debt, or if it's the avalanche, towards the highest interest on one of your debts, right? Always ensure to pay in extra a little bit more, right? And guys, this process is not going to be the most comfortable because debt repayment does require some disciplines in place, right? It does require you having to cut down on certain things to make sure that there's that little bit of cash that you can actually pay towards your debt, all right? Now, don't get too worked up on the numbers and is it snowball, is it avalanche? What is very, very important is just for you to commit. Commitment is once you've actually committed, you have almost won 50% of the battle. Now, we now have established our repayment plan. We have automated. We can see that there's a bit of cash and we also have our debt in full view, right? The next thing that you want to do is to see where can you free up some cash within your budget, right? So one, you need to look at your habits. You need to look at your habits. Yes, we need to be very honest with ourselves to say, if you were eating out every week, if you're going out every week, perhaps it's time to lessen the outings, right? From 3 to 4 times a month, you can then do two, right? You need to look at your subscription accounts. How many of us have a Netflix and all the other streaming services? You have your, what is it, Showmax, you have all this. Look at your streaming services and maybe decide to just take one for now while you're tackling this debt. Look at your clothing accounts. Do you really need new clothes this month? You have enough, right? Because I always look at myself when I look at my wardrobe, I say, for the past 2, 3 years, I actually just did well with this clothes, and I'm very fortunate. My size hasn't changed in like a very, very long time. And then say, if I manage with those clothes, do I really need new clothes? But also, what I've started doing is I buy quality over quantity. So, those are some of the things that you actually want to start taking into account. Now, when it comes to freeing up cash, this is something that could really, really propel you really, really faster than, paying off those small amounts. The month of your bonus, right? And this is going to be a sacrifice. But the month of your bonus, treat that bonus as if it doesn't belong to you, right? And pay it towards your debt. Get rid of it. I know for civil servants, you get that bonus on your birthday month. That birthday month, yes, you can take a bit of it, but the rest just pay it off towards your debt. You'd actually feel that relief very fast or faster because what you would see is what we do with ourselves is no, the bonus is mine. I've worked hard for it. And then you just end up spending on unnecessary things. But at the same time, you're drowning in debt, you're depressed over debt. Take that bonus and just pay towards that debt. Next year you work and you get your bonus, it will be your birthday, and you actually can get to enjoy your bonus without feeling guilty. For the guys in the private sector, you can either get a 13th check or your performance bonus. Probably depending on your performance, it could be even higher than your monthly earnings. So again, take that bonus and just, chuck it away, pay towards that debt, because you know that once you've paid off that debt, even the interest that you're supposed to pay, you can quickly start saving up. So that's just in terms of you freeing up cash. It's very important to actually to free up cash to channel a little bit more than what you pay as a minimum monthly amount towards your debt. While we're just discussing on freeing up cash, it's also very important to try and earn a little bit more than what you're currently making. You know, the more money you make, the faster you can pay off your debt, obviously, depending on the disciplines that you've put in place. So, what is it? Try to utilize your existing skills to earn you more income, right? Freelancing or yeah, so you can decide on carpooling or giving people rides to work or dropping off school children, especially now. It's just become a bit unsafe in Windhoek or in the cities for kids to commute from and to school. So you can then offer such a service, right? Depending on your skill, offer tutoring or, get or make your existing or use your existing skills to earn you an additional income. And I can tell you now, just an additional $1,000 can make such a big difference, right? Because even just that $1,000 and the amount of groceries, well, it's not the same as what you could get 2005, but you can still go a long way just with $1,000. And then another way that you can actually look at in terms of increasing your income is asking for a raise at work. I always say that, and it's a book that I refer to all my mentees when they just start off. The book is Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. And it's one of the very first books that I read when I joined corporate. And it gave me the courage to really just want to work, but also just to lean in and step forward and ask or negotiate either my salary or asking for a raise. So if you believe that you are delivering value at work, right, you do need to be delivering value. You can then actually at work ask for a raise and say, I have been doing ABCD. I've been able to bring this amount of value with this level of experience, and therefore I would like a raise. You can even link it to the market to say the market in this type of role with this number of years, this amount of responsibility, this is what's market related. And truly, I do believe I'm bringing value. The worst thing that can happen is for them to say no. But don't be afraid to ask for that raise in order to increase your income. And then lastly, it's very important to celebrate when you've paid off like that very first day. You say, I have now done this. Do it, celebrate. You don't need to go big, but you need to acknowledge that you're making progress. That's very important. One, to your side, but just also to motivate yourself, right? And you don't need to go all out in terms of celebrating. It can be as good as well done, woman, but acknowledge it. Or it can be as good as a spa voucher for yourself once every, I don't know when, right? So it's very important to then celebrate your wins. So just circling back to the lady that said, or the one then we started talking about at the beginning, this is the debt. Just list all your debt down and see where is it that you can free up some cash, right? And really, I applaud you for taking care of your siblings and buying them a bed. Don't feel too bad, right? Also, just with the way the economy is set up, things are expensive. Our earnings are barely enough. So don't feel too bad and don't be depressed about it. At least one, you are willing to seek help, i.e. coming into my inbox to look for just assistance on how you can tackle this. But two, you understand your debt because you listed it very well for me. So then pay off, try and pay off, see where you can save money, see where you can earn money, and then commit. But after that, it's very, very important to make sure that you then do not go back into the same trap, right? Of getting debt again and then having to pay it off in such a very uncomfortable manner. So, yeah, that is how you tackle debt. Please let me know if we are going to learn and we're learning together. Share with us, share your experience, and just perhaps how we could be of assistance. I hope you guys enjoyed this video from me, Woven. I'll see you in the next one.